People in Roxbury, there is a battle right now over a pharmacy. They just wrapped up a rally where they demanded that Walgreens change its plan to shut down the store on Warren Avenue. As WBZ's Tiffany Chan shows us, the neighbors refuse to accept anything that they say puts their health at risk.
Hell no, Walgreens!
A small but vocal group gathered outside of this Roxbury Walgreens.
So now, this is what's going on in Roxbury. The Walgreens is closing, right? Now, this don't have anything to do with the migrant shelter, but this is a Walgreens that's closing. Walgreens can close if they want to close. And they're probably doing it, facts, just like DeAndre is saying, they're probably doing it to create a shelter because, as you guys know, in Chicago and all these different places, they've used closed CVS's and all these different pharmacies in small places to create shelters, right? But ultimately, what if you wanted to move to a different neighborhood and a bunch of people protested and said, you're not allowed to leave, you're not allowed to leave? You'd be like, you must be crazy. I'm doing what I want to do. This is my shit. This is why it's so important for you to do your own shit. And one thing that a lot of this stuff reveals is that most of these people do not understand how to operate owning their own shit. Make it make sense. This is why it's so important. We have a private-owned pharmacy around where I live at. If CVS or Walgreens decide to move, guess what? The little mom and pop who own that pharmacy, they're not going anywhere. They're gonna be the only pharmacy now. This is what being conditioned on dependence looks like. And it's a bad look. It is a bad look. I want you guys to understand this. These people are literally protesting to stop a business that somebody else owns. They don't own this business from leaving. When the same amount of energy could be put into cultivating your own pharmacists that build a pharmacy in the community that work with hospitals that were built by doctors who were homegrown. Why would you, if Walgreens, if you've been loyal customers to Walgreens and Walgreens turns your back, they're turning their back and they want to leave anyway. Why do you want to keep somebody around who's turning their back on you? Make it make sense. Somebody make that make sense. How many people run after backstabbers with the knife still in their back, telling them to come back, please, come back, please? What does that make you look like?
It's fighting to keep the store open after the pharmacy chain announced.
I'm gonna tell you, man, the civil rights era and Christianity and all that stuff, man, that stuff, I want you guys to pay attention. That stuff really destroyed people's brains. And you're looking at it right here. I'm looking at it right now. You know what I'm saying? So now my question is, what are people going to do to fix this in the future? If there even is one. What are people going to do to fix this kind of thought process? How, you got to ask the question, how do you get to the point where the assumption would be made that dependence on the assets and resources of other people would be the optimal solution or would be the best solution? Somebody make it make sense. Somebody make it make sense. Yeah, that's that CO. That's that Christian Obumseli. Facts. Literally. You know what I'm saying? Bleeding. You know what I'm saying? With the knot on your head. Please open the door. Like, are you serious? These are all things that people can see. These are all things that people can see. People can experience this. People see it. It's right there. Nobody, if you ask me, we need to be dealing with this stuff right here, right now. We got to ask the question, what is wrong with people's brains? What's wrong with people's brains? Make it make sense.
It'll be permanently closed at the end of the month.
Why is it stressful? Because we need our medication.
Margaret is 87 years old and uses a walker to get
We need our medication. We need our medication. It amazes me that how people fail to see what's wrong with this. You know what I'm saying?
the Warren Street location to get her prescriptions weekly. It's a 15-minute walk. The next closest location is another mile away.
There's too many senior citizens and senior apartment buildings in this area that they're going to close it, and these people have to find a way. To get over to Columbus Avenue.
Or somebody can start a med delivery business. Seeing that a need just open up. See, like, I'm gonna tell you guys something. Sometimes there's entrepreneurs that'll see an opening for a whole new market and say, you know what, I'm gonna make a business that specifically targets that market. And then there's other people that just say, I don't know what to do. I guess if food doesn't get dropped in my mouth, I'm gonna die. And I guess you're just gonna die. I mean, that is what happens. So people need to ask themselves the question, do they want to live or do they want to die? It's very simple. Most people are moving like they want to die. And, you know, ultimately, they probably will. I don't know what else to say. What do you all say?
Reverend Miniard Culpepper says it's a major hit to this Black and Latino neighborhood after Walgreens closed 3 locations in Hyde Park, Nubian Square, and Mattapan about a year ago. Many of those customers relocated here. There's also a senior housing development around the corner.
So this Walgreens is critical, not just to this community, but the surrounding communities and the seniors.
So if you want to take out a bunch of old black people, all you got to do is just move Walgreens out and boom, just took out a bunch of people because they all gonna die because they don't know where to get their medicine or how to get it. Easy money. I don't know what else to say. That's like, we just make it where if you know you can knock everybody down if you just pull the rug out from up under us. Boop, we just pulled the rug out from under us. This is not fair. Well, I don't know what to tell you. It is fair. What's not fair is that people do not put into place contingency plans. That's what's not fair. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to JJOH4040. Appreciate you, bro, with the $1.49 super chat. Make sure you guys show him some love. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat for him. Definitely appreciate that. Would you guys agree or would you guys disagree? We've allowed in this community, this particular place here, to be totally dependent on this one Walgreens for all of our medical needs. What would happen if what if this was a private place and it was owned by an old person and the old person retired? Were we supposed to like keep him young somehow? Like, so now when he dies, everybody else dies. Where is the thought process at? Where is the contingency plan at? Where is the self-determination of your own circumstances at? Where is it? I try to learn how to do as much stuff as I can in case somebody decides to start acting shady or suddenly something else isn't available so that I can take care of my own needs. I don't want to be dependent on anybody for anything. If you're dependent, that gives someone else control over you. Look at this. They can control these people now. They can charge higher prices to these people for the same medicine and say, well, we'll charge more money, you know what I'm saying, if we stay here. And they'll pay it. A lot of these people are getting Medicare, Medicaid because they're retirement age. They'll pay it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Crew Reality. Crew Reality says, you are absolutely correct. They are begging for the same store that wouldn't let them eat there. And it was no Jim Crow in the North. Why can't the churches build a pharmacy? Exactly. But if we say this kind of stuff, we're coons. I'm a coon because I'm sitting up here saying that we should not allow dependence because dependence is a vulnerability. But somebody else will tell me that that's cooning. Because I feel that people should be self-sufficient. Because you can't depend on other people the same way you can't depend on the weather in the Midwest. All I got to say is there's nobody complaining about any of my tactics or methods that I've suggested because nobody's done any of them. But all of the stuff that everybody has said to do and what works, we're running off of 60 years of failure. And it's those people who put out that kind of solution that'll be the very first people to point over here and call me a coon for saying what I'm saying. You're sitting here telling people to continue running with the shit that's failed and falling flat on its face. But unexplored solutions and critiques that are very visible, that people are just too cowardly to say out loud, are invalid. Those very emotions are the emotions that these political parties control with ease, which is one of the reasons why people are where they are. You know what I'm saying?
Walgreens is downsizing nationwide, telling us, quote,
downsizing nationwide. There you go. So they got to say, we put out a statement. We closing all these different places. That's it. This just happens to be here. This is a community problem. Shout out to Torian. Torian said, what about the south of the Bordarians that are dependent on the government for free stuff? Or is it the other way around? The government is dependent on them. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's kind of an interesting dynamic there because they all have countries they can go back to. You know what I'm saying? They got support systems. They come in here with an advantage because they come in here for the United States to try to create artificial middle class and class systems and automatically be provided with gifts. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these people got different dynamics than we got. And one issue that we have, if you ask me, is that we compare our dynamics to theirs. The dynamics that's feeding them gifts is the dynamics that's feeding us poison. So to compare the results, to me, is kind of futile. We got to come up with our own results and only look at our results. We already know that these people are on some antagonistic stuff. People talk about making deals with the devil while we literally sit here and ask why the devil won't make a deal with us. Like, it's the craziest shit that I've ever seen in my entire life. I've never seen no crazy shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Literally, politics is an ongoing deal with the devil, but the same people will say, don't make a deal with the devil. This is why I can't take none of this shit serious. I take me serious. I don't take shit else serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real.
When faced with a difficult decision to close a location, several factors are taken into account, including our existing footprint of stores, dynamics of the local market,
Shout out to Nikki.
and
What's good with
changes
it,
in
Nikki?
the buying habits of our patients and customers, among other reasons. But after sitting in the parking lot observing for hours, I can tell you this location has a consistent stream of customers and sits next to a dialysis center.
I mean, there you go. Now, this is going to affect the health of the community negatively. This place is right next to a dialysis center, so you can go get dialyzed. Why do they got a dialysis center there? Because lots of black people have diabetes, heart problems, and kidney failure. So you got the dialysis center. From sitting up there eating all that bullshit that they serve in these neighborhoods, because it's a system that they're using to kill people. You know what I'm saying? And they got the pharmacy hustle, CVS, right next to it. So you got the doctor at the dialysis center. You're going to draw your labs. You're going to dialyze your blood. Oh, you know, XYZ, you need to go take some diuretic. Here, I'm going to prescribe you a diuretic. Going over there to Walgreens, get you your diabetic, get your Lasix pill. You know what I'm saying? It's a hustle. And they found other hustles that are more lucrative. So now they're leaving. And being dependent on someone else's hustle off of you. You know what I'm saying? Now these people are like, we don't know what to do. They don't, no community, no, there's nobody in all this community that nobody's a doctor. There's no pharmacist. No lawyer. A lawyer in the community can't get with a pharmacist and establish some papers, put together some money, buy a little building, set up, you know what I'm saying, some type of logistics with some pharmaceutical companies to get some medicines in there. Just dependent. This is what happens. You have picket signs around your neck. That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens.
That's 300 people from Harvard Street Health Center that comes to this Walgreens in our community. That's elderly, that's parents.
This group says they'll continue to rally until Walgreens changes their mind. In Roxbury, I'm Tiffany Chan, WBZ News.
Man, listen, they're going to sit there and protest Walgreens leaving until Walgreens change their mind. Here's the news flash. Walgreens not changing their mind.